So we really had an issue with the garage door not opening this morning, which sucked. And it looks like this torsion spring actually snapped. What's up, guys? So it's definitely not the best way to start out a day, but we're totally dealing with the first world problem. So, taking that into perspective, there's worse things that people deal with all the time. Me just having a garage that I could put multiple cars in, that alone, I should be so happy. I should be so lucky. I read an article that a lot of millennials and younger men in general, they just can't do what their dads used to be able to do. And I feel like this is a job that back in the day, my dad would have been able to fix. So a lot of us younger guys, millennials or young Gen Xers, they don't have a lot of experience fixing things around the house, fixing cars, etc. I wanted to make sure, and half jokingly to my wife, I told her, what's the point of having a husband if you just got to call somebody to fix something like this anytime around the house? Now, call me old school, I kind of feel like that's the guy's job. So anyway, I'm somewhat mechanically inclined. I felt comfortable doing it. If you're not, definitely call somebody if you need to, but if you're somewhat mechanically inclined, you're open to it, you want to save a few bucks, go ahead and give it a shot. Here's my experience with it, by the way. So basically, in order to fix it, a couple of basic tools. You need a 9/16 wrench. Get these loosened up right here. And you also need a 3/8 wrench, because on this part of the spring, actually had two of these bolts that had to be taken out. So basically what I'm going to have to end up doing is with the 9/16 loosen these bolts on that wheel right there, so I could slide this really long pole all the way out on one side. As you can see, I already took this wheel off, so what I'm going to end up doing is sliding the spring out all the way to the right. Now, it might make more sense to slide it over to the left because it's closer to the left. But basically, the way this bar is kind of bent right there, it just won't slide. So we got to go the other way, and hopefully that'll slide off just fine. But if you look at this, see, it'll slide no problem. But where it gets jammed up is right here. And that's just gonna be a pain in the ass to get it that way. See, it's already stuck. So we're gonna go off to the right side, and hopefully that'll work out. And then once we get all that done, what we're gonna have to end up doing is getting this cable right here that's attached to the bottom of the garage door, back around that thing right there, around that wheel. Alright, so we're gonna slide everything down to the right, like I mentioned. There we go. So far, so good. Kind of. Come on. Oh, come on. There it goes. So he's gonna get snagged or cut up on something. Uh-oh. Oh, poof. There it goes. Right on to the end. And off you go. What I'm gonna have to end up doing is going down to the local Home Depot or Menards. Hopefully they have that spring that I can just get. And the job ideally will take me less than an hour. We'll see. It's gonna have how I fix the garage myself, so if anybody watch it, they could actually do it themselves too.
What channel are you posting this my same channel. It falls under the guy stuff. Cause like I told the girl at my work, you know, she was talking about first world
So I ended up getting all this stuff at Menards. The spring was about $50. And what I got some winding bars as well for the torsion spring. And then, because these cables, you know, it's all crimped, really just kind of looks like crap. So I figured, why not just replace those two? It's only about $8. So here's some replacement torsion lift cables for a 7-foot high door. I got a standard 7-foot high by 16 wide here. So I got the new cable here, and just measuring against the old one, perfect match. So that's good news. And what you want to do is hook it to the bottom of the garage door over here. Looking at the instructions, I feel comfortable doing this myself even though I've never done it. But with that in mind, there's a disclaimer. So there's a warning, like many other things. Not only can this cause serious injury or death if improperly installed or mishandled, do not attempt to install them yourself unless you have the proper tools, which I do. Reasonable mechanical aptitude and experience. Well, I'd say I'm mechanically inclined. Obviously, I don't have experience with this. Upper arm strength, we got that. You follow these instructions very carefully. Professional installation is recommended. Well, I feel pretty comfortable overall. I don't really like the death part, but I feel that's highly unlikely. Oh, one important thing here. Step 1, lock the door securely in the down position. This must be done to prevent the door from prematurely opening, which could cause injury. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Gee, this lock's a little... adjustment seems off. Damn it. That is clearly not lined up, so great, that'll have to be fixed too. That was a quick fix. It was just sitting, I guess, a little bit lower than it should have, but still hitting the ground. Just had to lift it up a little bit, and it's locked. So one thing you'll notice, the torsion spring I got, it's quite, I mean, it's hard to tell from this angle, but it's quite a bit larger than what I actually had. According to the guy at Menards, as well as the little booklet, should be fine for a 7 by 16 foot door. And also, the one that I currently have now is actually right winding, and you put it on the left side. It's probably, I don't know, it's just confusing, but that's the way it goes. And right winding, or left winding rather, will go on the right side, so I got a left winding one to go on the right side. It really just reminds me of this scene from Seinfeld.
Is there something wrong with your other leg? No, just the old handicap acting up. But your cane's on the wrong side. That's just because we're standing on opposite sides. Yeah, see, when we met, I was over there and you over here, so the image was reversed, like in the mirror. You see? See, this looks right to you, doesn't it? Yeah, I guess. But see here, right, wrong, right, wrong, right, right? Wrong? Stop it, George. Just stop it. And I think I can see what's going on here.
So some garage doors actually have one on each side here. This one had one for a while. It's never really caused an issue, so I just went with one. It'll just be on the other side. So we'll see what happens. All right, here's what I was talking about, how the spring is wound differently. See how that's coming up this way, and this one's coming from the top down. And then on this side, it's coming this way, and on this old one, it's going that way. So this is left wound, this is right wound. So basically, this was the center. Now this needs to be the center, but had it on the left side, we're gonna go like this. So I'm taking this piece, this little black piece here from the old one, and luckily it fits in there perfectly. The new one didn't come with one. I even asked the guy at Menards about that piece, and he didn't think they had any, so luckily this still looks like it's in good shape. I got the new torsion spring kind of set up here. It's not tightened, but that's just that's a quick fix right there. I'll have to tighten it on the pole. Then get this other wheel tightened as well. Looks like it was sticking out a little more on the other end, so let me just adjust that. So to get the proper tension on this spring, we need about 7 total turns, and with the winding bars, you're going to go about a quarter of a turn each time. So, you know, going by that, we're going to do about 28 quarter turns. And you'll see it actually does take a little while, and the tension really builds up, so I could kind of see why there was a danger and a disclaimer in the book. I'm just going to fast forward the video here, because it's going to take a while. We're getting close. We're getting close. So now what we need to do is tighten the bolts near the end of the torsion spring next to the winding bars. You don't need to over tighten it, but get it tight enough where if you remove the bars, it's the main long bar over the garage door is not really going to move. Basically gotta tighten that drum up now. Get the cable on there. Then we should be good on the right side. So what we need to do here is place a cable in the slot in the drum, wind the cable back up once it's taut, and then tighten the bolts up on the drum, and that'll pretty much finish it. Here's pretty much what it's going to look like if it's wound up correctly. And then of course we're going to want to do the same thing on the other side. So once we get done with both sides, we're going to want to, of course, test out the garage door. Right off the bat, the garage is opening and closing really smoothly. Just gotta hook it back to that latch now. Alright, here's the test. It's looking good. So anyway, there you guys have it. It'll definitely increase your credibility as a man, save you a few bucks. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And let me know in the comments section, is this something that you plan to do yourself, or are you just gonna call someone and pay them to do it? Let me know.